Stepping onto this property is like stepping back in time.
The Ottisons, myself, my brother, and my father built all these structures.
It's been all constructed basically of salvage wreckage from the shores of Nantucket. We did the best we could with what we had.
We were approached way back, what were we going to do with the property?
Developers started knocking on our door. They could make us very wealthy, and we weren't about to leave the house we created, the land we created. That was never going to be in our lifetime.
We want to protect Nantucket because it's a really special place.
Looking back 81 years, I think we've seen the best in Nantucket.
It's sad to see how much it's changed. I think the old Nantucket is long gone. My name is Susan Ottison. I am a 10th generation native Nantucketer.
My name is Karl Ottison, and I'm a 4th generation native Nantucketer. We've been married 43 years.
So was it love at first sight?
Oh, hell no.
Our mothers were friends before we were born.
Karl and I were classmates forever. And it wasn't until our 10th class reunion we got together. He says, "You going?" I said, "Yeah, I guess I gotta go." And he says, "You?" I said, so we went together. Figured there'd be no place to park if everybody took their own car, so.
Well, 1968, parking was not a real problem around here then. Growing up on Nantucket as a child was very easy to do. It was such a quiet place.
Well, growing up here, there was only 3,000 people. You just had small groups of people that you hung out with. We rode our bicycles, we went places and picked berries and fishing. And
We made do with what we had and what we could grow in the garden. Now all we're growing is houses. In the 1940s, the property looked a lot different than what it does today. Farming was a way of life. Dairy cows, horses, grazing in the meadow. Our family owned approximately 100 acres, in which today covers from the Rotary to Fairgrounds Road, right to the creeks, the property we are onto today.
This property is very spectacular. All the birds and wildlife.
it's crazy. I mean, it's just, there's something out there all the time to watch. Mother Nature just is a show in itself. It's always changing. It's always changing.
What's that pink flower right there, Sue? Is that the...
Where are you looking, honey? Marlo?
My mom and dad were married in 1940. My father was Albert K. Ottison. My dad was a carpenter, builder, very skilled woodworker. He would make furniture, homes, boats, so I would see him do those things. I wanted to do those things, and I spent the rest of my life trying to catch up to his skills, which was no easy task. Every aspect of building a house is something we did as a combined family effort. My family has always taken a lot of pride in recycling materials and wood.
Don't waste anything. The Ottison family have always been into early recyclable stuff. It's amazing how Mr. Ottison, Dad, just would pick up a piece of wood and he would make a whirligig. He made his own nails when he built his boat. I mean, to me, that's amazing.
The beam in the kitchen is the mast from a ship that foundered off of Tuckernuck. So we brought jacks and rollers and we got it up so we could move it and push it down to the water's edge because it was a long ways from the water. And we got it to float and we towed it back to Nantucket and put it on a big trailer and brought it home.
We did our own plumbing, we did our own design work and assembling. It makes no difference whether it was a boat or a building or what have you.
The sawmill on the property is something I put together from just mechanical pieces I had laying around. I guess I always knew I wanted to build a sawmill. It's the only family-owned and operated sawmill on the island. People know that we like to have wood.
Well, sometimes they want to patch up a fence, build an outdoor shop. They don't want to put brand new boards up. They want it to blend in. We're, I guess, the recycling unit for the island.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of very fussy customers, and they don't want just everything brand new all the time, so they come here. This is our firewood supply for the coming winter. Albert and I, my brother here, we run both our homes on firewood furnaces.
All you need is a handful of newspaper and a match. It's easy. There's no cleanup. You just use it, step out, and you're through. In the summertime, I have a solar hot water heater outdoors for outside showers. It's just a box painted black with some black 2-inch hose in it. Heats the water up. And I push the hot water out with cold water, so the cold water is pushing the hot water into my shower stall. We were doing these things before people become energy conscious. It's a way of life on Nantucket.
When I graduated out of high school, I didn't know what I was going to do with myself, and I fell into a position of making Nantucket light chip baskets with somebody, and he retired, and I kept on doing it. Been doing it for 54 years. It's fascinating. I love working with my hands. When Karl and I got married, we created a workshop downstairs in the lower half of the house, and we have a little retail area, and people would come and see actually baskets being made, and the finished products were there, and it became a full-fledged business for us, and everything is made right here from scratch. In all the years that we've been doing it, we didn't never elaborate on who we're making baskets for. So I finally kind of said from the White House on down, and so I leave it at that. I still make a few baskets for people that have had an order with me. I'm trying to clean it up because I am retiring. I don't put too much in here because the crows come and eat it. So, all right, we're going to the pond. Well, when I moved in, back in '78, the bachelor pad.
That long ago?
It was just a field of poison ivy and wild roses, and I got itchy to get something going and preserve and open it up.
Susan expanded the lawn by about 900%.
When we first started, I mean, I had to go get books on what were the wildflowers growing here, and my thought was to plant amongst the natural wildflowers that are already here.
Some of the large willow trees on the east side of the lot, I got the cuttings from damaged trees. The willows at the harbor house we had a big storm and there were broken branches everywhere. So Sue and I were riding around, and I jumped out and I threw in a bunch of the branches that the crews hadn't picked up yet. And I brought them home and stuck them in the ground in various places around the lot. They're down there now, and they're probably over 30 feet tall. They're 42-year-old trees.
What helped to start it was the apple trees. We wanted to get to those apple trees and see what else was around in the property.
Sue decided that we would get married under one of the closer apple trees. So we made a path down to that, and that was the beginning of paths.
This apple tree is at least 100 years old, but this is the tree that we got married under in 1979, and we had just planted this rhododendron, which was teeny weeny, and it's huge now.
One of the very early things that caught my interest in my wife was she invites me to dinner one night, and she's cooking roast beef. She put together a wonderful little dinner for the two of us, but she cooked that roast beef in a toaster oven with very minimal kitchen facilities. And she pulled that off flawlessly. And I said to myself, this is a very capable woman.
I worked on you through your tummy. Of course, he happened to come with a very beautiful home and a very beautiful view, so I married it. We were approached way back in 2000. What were we going to do with the property? We have no children, so where are we going to do with this? And we hadn't really thought about it. And this gentleman had some other partners, and they were going to go in together and buy the whole 8 acres that we have.
They offered us a price, and
right. And that got us thinking, wait a minute, that's not the kind of thing we want to do. We want to leave it for everybody, not see it chopped up or hotel down along the road.
We just decided that we live here for the rest of our natural lives, and in the end, it can go back to the people of Nantucket.
Leaving this property in their hands, it's going to show a lifestyle that we lived.
Hoping it will bring a little joy to people like it has brought to us, the Ottison family.